Tommy Robinson. Well, you couldn't get a more quintessentially British name than that, could you? Have you ever wondered if that's just a coincidence, or in fact, maybe it's not his real name? So his real name, of course, as many of you will already know, is Stephen Yaxley Lennon. And Tommy Robinson, aka Stephen Yaxley Lennon, seems to be of the opinion that the only people that commit any kind of abuse against women and children happen to be Muslim. Now, if you've got any knowledge of what's been happening and what's going on, you must know that in fact that's bollocks. Because the biggest criminals, the biggest perpetrators of that particular crime, the latter, is in fact the elitists, not least the people in government and the royal family. The very same people who organise for immigrants to come over and stay in 4-star hotels, which, it's extremely annoying. Is it the fault of the immigrant, who could well be coming from a country we've bombed for no reason, or they've come from a country where they are desperate for money, for example, and they've been told, look, come over here, can't bring your family, but we'll make sure, we reward you, okay, when you, for whatever we want you to do. So when you go back, or you can, either send money over now to your family, or when you come back. If you're in that position, maybe you'd do the same, because the reality is they're just the same as us. The people that aren't the same as us are the same people that weren't the same as us all along. And that's the elitists. And I think that when people are getting extremely emotional and agitated and painting flags up everywhere, they need to think about both what those flags represent, because in effect what they're doing, and I know it's not intentional, but they are unintentionally actually saying they support the very thing or the very people that have created this problem in the first place. It's kind of ironic, really. You should also think about the fact that, or go back to the COVID era when the marches took place. Were the media actively reporting on that and supporting it, or at least, giving it airtime for people to have a discussion about? No, they weren't. They were condemning it, and they were underreporting it. Now, they're not doing that, are they, with, the guys that paint the flags? They're giving it plenty of coverage. My feed on Facebook is littered with it, and it's not natural, organic updates. This is promoted content that they want me to see. Why? Because they want to stoke a reaction. They want to create a state, a country that's out of control, a public that have began to rebel, civil unrest. Why? Because they have a solution for that problem. And that solution will be far greater powers for the police force and digital ID. Where do all these things come from? They come from, in fact, the country that you really should be having an issue with, and the people you should be having an issue with, the population of that country, who largely still, unbelievably, support what their leader is doing, and that's Israel. And by the way, guess who is funding Tommy Robinson, Stephen Yaxley Lennon? It's the Zionists. Part of his funding comes from the Zionist Jewish group in the UK, because they want you to hate Muslims. They don't like Muslims either, and they want you to be focused entirely on those people and not on what they're doing.